Hallo zusammen! In today's video, I, a German native speaker, will analyze, explain and translate the German lyrics to Rammstein's Mein Herz, brennt. We're going to talk about interesting linguistic details about the lyrics and what you can take away from them as a German language learner, for instance, or just someone who is interested in Rammstein in general. So, let's go! Mein Herz, brennt is the first song on Rammstein's third album, Mutter, which was released in 2001. It's die Mutter, singular, die Mütter, plural, the mother. It's not only the first Rammstein album arguably released in the 21st century, but it's also the first album by the band that has a more open, broader, dare I say, sonic approach, maybe? What do I mean by that? You know, on the surface, the ingredients are the same still, you know, loud guitars, pounding drums, and of course the enigmatic, mysterious, passionate vocals delivered by Till Lindemann, of course. But then again, the songs themselves became less about static rhythms, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, I'm just stating that. It's a different approach. It's more dynamic, more maybe even symphonic, and this song in particular is a great example. This new, more open-sounding direction was continued on future albums, and even Mein Herz, brennt as the first song on this album is a testament to that fresh approach. The string sounds are a major part in the song's arrangement, and without them, the entire mood of the track would be heavily different, I reckon. Especially considering that the heart of the song, no pun intended here, the chorus, only consists of one line, and especially the strings leading the melody in the foreground. I also really enjoy the free arrangement of the song. As an active listener, you figure out throughout the song that it basically starts with a quieter version of the pre-chorus, which then leads into the chorus, which only then leads into the first proper verse. Mein Herz, brennt translates to my heart burns, or my heart is burning, for mein, my, a self-reflexive pronoun for the first person singular, and das Herz, singular, die Herzen, plural, the heart, and brennt, a German verb in the third person singular presens indicative form of brennen, to burn. See, I'm not even talking about the lyrics yet, but the song's title alone, it evokes different associations, interpretations, and it raises questions. Mein Herz, brennt, my heart burns. It's because of the heart in combination with burns. Why does the heart burn? Is it passion? Is it love? Longing maybe even? Or is it a hellish fire? Hatred? Who knows? Maybe a look at the lyrics will reveal more. Let's find out. The intro goes like this. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht. Hab es aus meiner Brust gerissen. Mit diesem Herz hab ich die Macht, die Augenlider zu erpressen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. The song makes use of an artistic choice that is very typical for singer and lyricist Till Lindemann, the stories that he conveys in the songs. He makes use of quite poetic and expressive phrases. And similar to many other Rammstein songs, he manages to create a very drastic lyrical scenery while doing that in a way that's still easy to comprehend, to approach. Especially lines 5 and 6 are a testament to that stylistic approach. In basically all other contexts, Germans would never use a verb like erpressen, to blackmail, in the context of closing one's eyes and forcing themselves to fall asleep, but here we are. Something that I personally really like about many Rammstein lyrics, in fact, is that they are relatable. This song is a great example of that as well, because it tackles topics that we all can relate to. We've all been kids at one point, lights out, parents away, we are left on our own, and then imagination takes over. Monsters under the bed, I heard some creaking noises over there, and this song in specific really evokes those emotions, I think. I love how the lyrics manage to pull the listener in right from the first words. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht. It manages to create a sense of security while also being confronted with uncertainty. We basically get comforted with smooth words. It's not just children, it's liebe Kinder. and fein. The conjugated two-part verb acht geben, to pay attention, literally to give attention or caution, hints at an imminent potential danger, but the second line still leaves us lingering. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Großartig, great. Pillows are really soft and warm and comfy and, well, wait, maybe it could also be a false sense of security? As you can see, I included two potential ways to translate the German preposition aus. Out of, or from within, or you could even say from inside. Both express that it's a voice seemingly speaking from within or coming out of a pillow. For das Kissen, Singular, die Kissen, Plural. The same applies to the very drastic line 4. Hab es aus meiner Brust gerissen. It's die Brust, Singular, die Brüste, Plural, the breast or chest. Line 5 not only reveals what the lyrical I talking to the children has ripped out of their chest, but it's also a common term in many Rammstein songs. Das Herz, the heart. Now, on the one hand, line 3, ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht, sounds quite nice and friendly, right? A gift-giving situation, maybe. However, giving someone a heart can be both lovely and a really terrible thing, when you really think about it. Not just literally, I mean, of course, but also figuratively. Does the lyrical I get rid of their positive feelings? They are drawn to the dark side, because they also have cookies, apparently. What's going on here? Line 5 doesn't sound promising either. Mit diesem Herz hab ich die Macht. For die Macht, Singular, die Mächte, Plural, the power. Once again, this can be interpreted in so many different ways, positive, negative, grayish areas in between, like singing until the new day awakens, which would be a literal understanding of that. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? Then again, could that also be an evil lullaby? Could it be a nightmare in disguise? Then again, line 8, ein heller Schein am Firmament. Sounds very hopeful and positive. Or is it the train at the end of the tunnel? Anyway, it's der Schein, Singular, die Scheine, Plural, the shine. And what's especially cool about this from my perspective is the quite rare, uncommon German word das Firmament, the firmament. This is another great example of a German term that may be just well enough well known among younger Germans, for instance, that they may still understand what it means, but it also just carries a strong poetic flavor. And the best thing, there's even another German synonym that's equally poetic in my book. Das Himmelszelt, Singular, die Himmelszelte, Plural, a compound word made up of der Himmel, Singular, die Himmel, Plural, the sky, and das Zelt, Singular, die Zelte, Plural, the tent. Das Himmelszelt, the sky tent. Now, as a native German, I could think of quite a lot common German terms that would rhyme with Brennt. However, Firmament would be very low on the list. I guess I also like lyrics that at first seem quite innocent and even use terms like das Kind, Singular, die Kinder, Plural, the child, to evoke a sense of comfort and safety, only to then strongly contrast that with explicit imagery and even truly dark and evil, vile creatures, because, let's face it, that is what the first short verse is all about. Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht, Dämonen, Geister, schwarze Feen. Sie kriechen aus dem Kellerschacht und werden unter euer Bettzeug sehen. Splendid. Exactly what we all long for. Hooray! The more I think about it, you could even argue that this song may serve as a form of confrontative therapy, featuring der Dämon, Singular, die Dämonen, Plural, the demon, der Geist, Singular, die Geister, Plural, the ghost or spirit, and die Fee, Singular, die Feen, Plural, the fairy. I mean, you could try to argue that the term Geist or Fee isn't a dangerous thing or a bad thing automatically, but stressing, for instance, that it's black fairies, for schwarz, black, I don't know, that doesn't really sound too promising to me. And then it's also the image-provoking verb, dare I say, kriechen, to crawl, in combination with the fact that they crawl out of the basement shaft for der Keller, singular, die Keller, plural, the basement or cellar, and der Schacht, singular, die Schächte, plural, the shaft. Line 3 is a great example of something I would call a sense for language and poetic aesthetics, for lack of a better term here. What I mean is, as a lyricist, Till Lindemann could have easily chosen a different verb for this line. For instance, something like schleichen, to sneak. Sie schleichen aus dem Kellerschacht. But he didn't do that. He opted for kriechen, with a crunch consonant K, flowing very well with Kellerschacht. It adds an interesting ring to it all, to the line in specific, but also to the verse as a whole. And I just love that stuff. And talking about little details, the last line doesn't say, Sie sehen unter euer Bettzeug. They look under your bedding, for sehen, to look, and das Bettzeug, the bedding, literally the bed stuff. But it's even worse. Und werden unter euer Bettzeug sehen, and will look under your bedding. It's basically like an early warning? I guess you could even say it's some sort of threat. Considering that the lyrical I seems to be anything but a child, addressing a child in this context here, that's freaking terrifying. What's so fascinating to me from an analytical linguistic point of view is that this frightening outlook is expressed including a word that couldn't be more unscheinbar, inconspicuous, literally unshineable. Das Bettzeug. Very descriptive, very neutral, pretty broad for das Zeug, the stuff. It even sounds a bit bland, doesn't it, as a term? Das Zeug. Yeah, well, that's the stuff. And yet, it's still an integral part of this creepy scenery. And the question that remains and lingers in the air is the lyrical I actively enjoying this scenery? Maybe they're just portraying it, they're just delivering it, maybe from an observer's point of view. We don't know yet, because the second verse reveals more. Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht und stehlen eure kleinen, heißen Tränen. Sie warten, bis der Mond erwacht und drücken sie in meine kalten Venen. Well, I think this is a pretty clear indication, isn't it, dare I say. This one once again coldens, if that is a term, the entire situation even further by using words like die Nacht, singular, die Nächte, plural, the night, and der Mond, singular, die Monde, plural, the moon. Once again, under different circumstances, in a different context, this may even be considered romantic, in a way. They basically serve as a climax of sorts, a climactic progression. From the children's point of view, it's just an utter, completely helpless situation to be in. It's die Vene, singular, die Venen, plural, the vein. And it's not just some veins, it's quote-unquote my veins from the lyrical I's perspective, which means and reveals that the lyrical I plays an active part in all of this. But what is the lyrical I? Very abstract maybe, but something like a weakened god or a demon, a fallen angel that tries to get stronger from the tears, the fear. However, as clear as the last line makes that the lyrical I seems to act driven by bad intentions, it's also another rather plain, inconspicuous word that still tells a lot. Let's take a look at line 2. Und stehlen eure kleinen heißen Tränen. What I mean by that is, to me at least, the lyrical I is almost belittling the children and their fear. They're not taking them seriously. They say it's little tears. Ah, those little tears that you cry. They won't help you in any way, shape or form. You are lost and doomed and everything in addition. And talking about adding things, the contrast between the children's hot tears that are pressed into the cold veins of the lyrical I also tells us everything we need to know, really, without really telling us really specific things at the end of the day, about the lyrical I at least. We just don't know. And maybe at the end of the day, even though that sounds very drastic, that's okay, because that is part of the mystery. And that is part of the magic of Mein Herz brennt. Isn't that the beauty of lyricism, of great lyricism in particular? Lyrics that can be interpreted in so many different ways. 10 different people may interpret this in 100 different ways. You as the listener can take the lyrics your own way. You can make up your own interpretation of them. And they are valid to you, and that's the most important thing. And that's the beauty of art at the end of the day. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can check out more than 80 more Rammstein related videos, more German music analysis type of videos like this one where I translate, analyze, and linguistically explain the lyrics to language learners and people that are just interested in German, you know, and German music in particular. And not just for Rammstein, by the way, also for Eisbrecher, Die Ärzte, and other German acts out there. So if you enjoyed this, feel free to let me know. That would be greatly appreciated and really helps the channel a whole lot. Liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing especially, very helpful. Thank you very much from the bottom of my German heart for watching. Much appreciated as always. And definitely see you next time. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.